Good morning. This is Marty Forte with Excellence in Education, and we are going to continue from last night where we were technically challenged, to say the least. And so I just want to provide all of you guys, ladies primarily, with an overview what we were attempting to talk about last night in relationship to PSPs. Okay, so the important thing to remember is that we want to look at the purpose of education. If we look at it from this particular prism that I'm going to present to you, you'll be amazed how uncomplicated teaching your children can be. So, for elementary, our purpose, this is real important, our purpose is to create the love of learning. If you do that, that's a gift of a lifetime. It's phenomenal. Secondly, we want to create a self taught individual. Again, another lifetime gift. Then we want to look at creating the dream. Dream building is so important because through all these little dreams that the child goes through in their early years, the better the chances are they will create a objective for where they want to be at 25. And it's real important. You don't ever want to be a dream stealer. If you have a, let's say, a son in little league and he's good and he's feeling, oh man, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome, and I think I want to be a baseball player. Well, you know, and I know that his chances are 0.001%, but you can never tell him that. You encourage the dream. You let him play. You let him do what's required. When he gets to high school, he still wants to do that. Then we start figuring out a way to get to that place. But you always ask for a backup, not because he can't do it, because that would be a dream steal. You have to have a backup in case he gets injured and he can't play any longer. That's a legitimate backup question. So then we want to get into teaching from a mastery foundation. School is set up where you can't master things as readily. And I'll get into that in a few seconds. Then you want to provide time for exploration. That exploratory component is very important for that dream build and also just to have different experiences. Take the time to smell the roses. Don't be so concerned about breaking the travel distance from here to point A to point B. Just take the time and enjoy life. Okay, but now high school is even simpler because all you want to do is prepare your child for age 25. By 25, they should have all their um, schooling done. They should be in a job, or if you're a girl, maybe you having a job, or you're married at 25 and starting to create your family. But 25 is a great place to aim for. So that's all it is. For instance, if your child wants to be a carpenter, why would he take slice and dice to kitty cat biology? Why would he take algebra 2, trig, and calculus? He doesn't need it. We want to prepare him for his dream, his career path. Okay, now here's the reality. School is based on age equals grade. It says at age 6, every child should be in first grade, and they should all have the same developmental skills in mathematics, language arts, science, etc., etc. But what it doesn't take in consideration is a thing called integrated maturity. And that's the age, about 8 to 10, where everything comes together. Your growth in your mind, your body, everything now allows you to become a highly efficient learning machine. Performance is based on a time element. you're going to have 9 months from September to June to learn about a specific subject. Let's say in high school, Algebra 1. Now, what happens is at June, you're given a grade. They don't care if you've mastered it, but they'll give you a grade. Let's say it's a C. That means your student goes to the next level of math with a 20 to 30% deficiency factor. And that's going to make it difficult to master that next level. Don't forget, math is highly layer oriented foundationally. Okay. Then we want to look at the fact that if you master it, you have an A. Now, it might take a little bit longer for you to have your student master Algebra 1. Maybe it takes a year and a half to really understand it and have mastery. In that case, we'd give you 1 year of credit, but be the big A. But next year in geometry, they master it in half a year. Man, boom, they loved it. They understood it. I would give 1 full year of credit. Okay. Now, schooling is highly scripted. They're following the menu established by the state. Pretty soon, every student will have the same subject matter. We're doing a lot more online with the public school system, so that takes away that teacher time. And it's also strict on time limits. And again, it destroys curiosity, it destroys mastery, it destroys the love of learning. And then we have a high emphasis from the classroom environment, whether public or private, for A to G. You got to get to A to G, so you got to go to college. Well, what if you don't want to go to college? You want to be a tradesman instead. Be a great plumber, be a good electrician, whatever. That's where the money is. That's where it's going to be. So all these things get in the way of a good education. Now let's look at that being the reason for you to homeschool, and then to homeschool via the private school affidavit is one way, total independence, but I want to stick with the PSP now, the private satellite program. And I believe that's the best place to be. Now, what does the PSP do for you? One, we provide the administrative covering that you become legally homeschooling your child, and it meets all the needs of compulsory education laws in California. Secondly, it provides you with support. We can counsel with you. We can give you ideas. You have issues with your child, we can help you throughout all that stuff. Second of all, we can provide as a PSP various activities, because some PSPs, and it's real important to understand that you really want to interview any PSP that you're thinking about, because they all have different parameters. They all have different administration fees. They all have different requirements. Some of the faith-based ones say, okay, you got to belong to this church, or you have to sign a statement of faith, or you have to use Christian curriculum. Others go, wow, we want to provide you more freedom, and we're here for you, and we're not going to get caught up on having to meet with you every 2 weeks or every month. We trust you as the parent. So the important part is to understand all these parameters. Now, others, outside of the administrative thing, it's real important to understand that some PSPs offer more services than others. Some have classes that you can attend. Some have park days that are very important. Park days are critically important, because what that does, it provides your family with a safe a safe environment for your kids. And every homeschool mom needs a couple homeschool girlfriends because that's where the reality hits. And the brand new homeschooler might think of this problem being immense, like a Mount Whitney, whereas the experienced homeschool mom will go, "Oh, sweetheart, this just it's only about that big. You don't have to worry about it. It's okay." And you go, "Whew, wow, that's great." So that homeschool girlfriend thing is really important. Other PSPs might offer field trips. In the case of my PSP, we do about, on average, 30 to 40 field trips a year. Now, why is that important? Well, go back to your childhood and go, wow, I got to go on a field trip. I know for me, it was the Weber Bread Company. They had a field trip. And you got this little loaf of bread to take home with you. But it was fascinating to see that whole thing. But but we also want to have that exploratory side of homeschooling, and field trips provide that. We go to different things like museums, reenactments, theater. We have a great relationship with LA Opera, so our students can go to the opera for free if they want to. But field trips become that wonderful opportunity for just exploratory and to feel the subject of man at hand. For instance, you go to the Riley's Farm, and they have reenactments out there. So if you're studying the Civil War or the American Revolution, you get a feel for what it was like to be on on that battlefield. Other areas of support could be counseling services. Some people don't want to get into counseling, but I think counseling is important. I believe that you need to have association with people, and and that's done through the field trips, the park days. Um, Also, there's an attendance factor. Some some PSPs will go, you got to have show me an attendance sheet, and you got to be in and doing some kind of classwork 5 days a week. Well, you know what? In a charter, you can't do anything like take an extended vacation. In our example, I did a lot of travel when I was younger for my jobs, and a lot of times I would go field trip. Where are you going, Dad? Seattle for 2 weeks. They'd come with me, and we'd hit every air museum because my daughter had a dream about aviation, and they got to learn how to use public transportation to explore all around Seattle. It was awesome. These are the kind of experiences that we as a PSP owner want our kids to have, our students. We cannot restrict them because let's say you have a relative, a grandparent in no better place, let's say Mexico, that's close by, and grandma's not feeling good. So why should we prevent your family and the kids to go down to Mexico for a month maybe and be with grandma on her final days? That's as important as learning that algebraic equation. So it's critically important for you to really figure out what the restrictions of the PSP are, what the benefits are. Um, the PSP should be very open to diversity. It's a situation where you cannot restrict the child because if you restrict the child too much, you create a dislike or an anti-love of learning. Your whole purpose should be, Mr. PSP, are you going to encourage my child to be an independent thinker? Are you going to encourage my child to be uh, doing activities where they learn to love learning? Are you going to be a PSP that supports my child becoming an independent thinker? These are all important. Now, the PSP should also be involved in the creation of the curriculum plan that your family wants to do. That's real important because a lot of homeschoolers, brand new, have no clue what's going on. But you, as an experienced person, should be able to uh, provide that counsel that's so critically needed. Dual enrollment, boy oh boy, that is so important. Does the PSP allow for concurrent enrollment or dual enrollment where your child can start to have college credits built up during their high school time period? I've had kids get their AA degrees and their high school diploma on the same week. I had one individual, gung ho, that had his bachelor's degree and his high school diploma at age 17. That's crazy, but it really, really, really uh, works. Does your PSP allow for you to do extracurricular activities out during school days, school hours? For instance, my girls, especially my younger daughter, spent an inordinate amount of time at the martial arts dojo. But that experience at the dojo was a life changing experience for her. So you need to know that that PSP goes, yeah, that's great. If you do some lessons during school day hours, that's fantastic. Some people go, I don't know. You should be sitting at the desk. So be sure you have freedom. Avoid peer dependency at all costs. It doesn't mean that you become an isolationist, but you don't want to have them in a situation where the influence from their peers is greater than the influence you have. Believe me, your kids will thank you at the end of the day when they're 25 for controlling that component. And then, does your PSP encourage volunteering? I think volunteering is an awesome part of a homeschool lifestyle and homeschool experience. So I encourage you to look at each PSP with a microscopic look at things. Find out if it meshes with your family lifestyle, your family worldview. Um, and I think the more restrictive the PSP, the less effective it becomes. We at EIE, that's who I am, we're big on freedom, we're big on exploration, and we're not big on meetings unless you want to have the meeting. If you want to meet with us, man, come on down, set the appointment, and we're going to meet with you for 10 minutes or 3 hours. Whatever it takes to make you a successful homeschool family. So basically, that's the overview of what was attempted last night through the wonderful technological misfits that occurred. But again, congratulations for all you guys, ladies, who are participating in this 5-day challenge. We encourage you to be part of homeschooling. If you choose a PSP, I'm more than happy to offer a $100 discount on the first year of your enrollment with EIE Academy. That $100 can be a nice savings for you. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. One thing that I highly encourage is that all of you who are thinking about homeschooling, whether it's through the charter or through a PSA or through a PSP, attend Board of Education meetings. You go, what? Why would I do that? Well, very simple. You will, the husband tends to be the principal, the mom is the teacher, and your kids are the student body. A Board of Education meeting is defined as you, the principal, meet with the teacher to discuss the student body, but away from the student body. And that becomes at a nice, quiet restaurant once a month. And that allows you, the parents, to keep in connection with what's happening. And then it allows both of you to have input and encourage each other and pretty do well. At the end of your meeting, you adjourn, and then your meeting transforms into a date night. If you want to have a happy household, if you want to have a successful homeschool program, I believe that those date nights are critically important. So anyhow, we'll conclude on that. And I appreciate you listening to this. I also have a couple other YouTube videos that can be found on my website. One is about dreams and don't steal the dream. And the other is a deeper look at the difference between learning and schooling. So again, thank you very much for being part of the 5-day challenge. And we'll catch you again a little bit later on during the week. Okay, take care.